चिच्छाया देह साक्षिभिः चिच्छाया देह साक्षिभिः सहजं कर्मजं भ्रान्ति सहजं कर्मजं भ्रान्ति जन्यं च त्रिविधं क्रमात् जन्यं च त्रिविधं क्रमात् सम्बन्धिनो सतोर्नास्ति सम्बन्धिनो सतोर्नास्ति निवृत्ति सहजस्य तु निवृत्ति सहजस्य तु कर्मक्षयात् प्रबोधाच्च कर्मक्षयात् प्रबोधाच्च निवर्तेते क्रमादुभे निवर्तेते क्रमादुभे. We've been studying this old Vedantic text, Drig Drishya Viveka, which is an introduction to the system of Advaita Vedanta, the non-dual Vedanta. According to Advaita Vedanta, we are not this body of flesh and blood. We are not even our minds, thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, memories. We are not even that. Then what are we? We are the witness of the body and mind. The witness consciousness called the Sakshi, which literally means the witness. So we are the witness consciousness ever shining upon the mind, and through the mind working on the body, and through the body and mind experiencing this universe and interacting with this universe. But we are not the body nor the mind. Just as much as I am not this scarf or the shirt. So just as we are not our clothes, the body and mind are coverings for our true nature, which is pure consciousness. And what is this pure consciousness, and how are we to appreciate, grasp, understand this? This we saw in the first class, in the very beginning, the very first verse. Now we have this pure consciousness shining on the mirror of the mind. And just as if I put a mirror in front of me, my face will be reflected in the mirror. Similarly, we, the pure consciousness, the witness consciousness is reflected in the mirror of the mind. And this is the awareness which we all experience all the time. Right now, feel it, the sentience, the awareness, the consciousness which we feel all the time. We are conscious. We feel it inside us, in our minds. That consciousness is a reflection of the pure consciousness or the witness consciousness which you really are. This face which I see always in the mirror is a reflection of my true face, which I do not see. I see only that face. And this reflected consciousness is our individual existence. In terms of conventional religion, when you read in the Bible, God made man in his image. God, the pure consciousness, reflected as the reflected consciousness in the mirror of the mind, that is the image of pure consciousness, as much as the reflected face in the mirror is the image of my real face. God made man in his own image. The reflected consciousness is us. It's the subtlest idea that we can get out ourselves. Think about it. Physical body, flesh and blood, the nervous system, our memories, our ideas, our thoughts. Deeper than that, the blankness of deep sleep, the consciousness that we perceive in ourselves is that reflected consciousness. And that is and if you identify yourself with that, then you are an individual human being. What Vedanta tells you is that is the reflection of your true nature. I am not the reflected face. I've gotten into the habit of thinking of myself as the reflected face. What is the problem with the reflected face? The problem is this. Every problem of the mirror becomes a problem of the reflected face. Mirror is dirty, the reflected face feels, I am dirty. Now, the mirror is polished, the reflected face feels, oh, I am so shiny today. I am neither dirty nor shiny. It's a reflection, and the reflection depends on the reflecting medium. The reflecting medium is the mirror. Whatever the conditions of the mirror, That will be the condition of the reflected face. Mirror is shattered, the reflection is broken, reflected face thinks, oh, I am dying. None of it is true. The real face is neither dirty nor polished, nor living nor dying. It's a reflection which says all that. So all the problems of the mirror becomes the problems of the reflected face. All the problems of the mind and the physical body and in connection with the external world, all of that becomes my problem once I identify myself with the reflected consciousness in my mind. I am this limited conscious entity, mind, body, and the consciousness within. That's what I become. Vedanta tells me you are not that. Now in the mind, there is this I. Which I, nothing mystical about it. The I, the Sanskrit aham, I, the ego. The big guy, the I. That I, the text tells us, concentrate on that I. That I is connected to the body. That I, our I, the ego, I means the vertical one, not the. That I is connected to the body. How? I am this body. This is my body. That's how. And that I is connected to the reflected consciousness. I am always aware. Whenever I think of myself as a sentient being, as an aware being, as a conscious being. So the I in the mind is identified with the reflected consciousness in the mind. And the I, what relation does it bear to the true I, which Vedanta tells us about, the witness consciousness? These three questions were taken up last time. It's a subtle topic, that's why I'm repeating this. What were the questions? The I, the ego that we feel in ourselves, how is it connected to the body? How is it connected to the awareness that we have in our minds? And how is it connected to the real self which Vedanta talks about? Vedanta talks about ourselves as existence, consciousness, bliss. And this I, which we feel right now, what relation does it bear to existence, consciousness, bliss? And the three answers are given in the next verse, in verse number 8 and then 9. What are the questions? How are they related? And the second set of questions will be, how can these relations be cut? How can the I be free of these things? The answers are like this. The I is related to the body. In all of us, the I is related to the body by karma. This body has been worked up by my past karma. As long as this karma, which is giving results in this life, called prarabdha karma, karma which has begun to give results, as long as this karma is giving results, this body will live. And the body dies when the karma gives out. That portion of my karma, accumulated karma, gives away, and the body dies. Up to that point, up to the death of the body, the I in the body is related to the body. The I in the body is related to the body. Even the greatest saint, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he says, my hand is broken. Whose hand? The body. So the body, the hand is broken. So he says, my hand is broken. Can you tell me what I can do about it? Why does my hand get broken? So that's one usage. There's also another usage which makes a difference between Ramakrishna Paramahansa and the rest of us, which we shall see little later. So I am related to this body. You can't help it. Second, I is related to consciousness, the reflected consciousness. How? He says it's natural. Natural relationship. What do you mean by natural relationship? The reflected face in the mirror and the mirror, they have a natural relationship. Whenever I put a mirror in front of my face will be reflected in the mirror. There will be a reflection. You can't help it. Mirror will give you a reflection. And what is the relationship between the mirror and the reflected face? It's natural. As long as the mirror is there, the reflected face is there. If the reflected face is there, it means that the mirror is there. Similarly, the I and consciousness, reflected consciousness. Whenever the mind throws up an I function, I exist. And that will always be a sentient I, conscious I. Because you, the pure consciousness, witness consciousness, you are shining upon your mind. So the I feeling in the mind will always appear as a shining I. When will they go? When the mind stops functioning, when you turn the mirror and put it down, face down, there will be no reflection. Similarly, in deep sleep, when the mind shuts down, there is no I feeling. There's no I feeling. We do not feel I am sleeping. Then you're not sleeping. So there's no I feeling at that time because the mind has shut down, and hence the reflected consciousness is also not there. So you don't feel I am a conscious being in deep sleep. It explains why in deep sleep, though we are pure consciousness, yet we do not feel like a conscious being in deep sleep. All this is secondary. The real question is the third question. What is the relationship between I, the witness consciousness, Sakshi, and this I in the mind? And the author answers dramatically, there's no relationship. It's a confusion. You are not related to the mirror. My face is in no way related to the mirror. I don't care if there is a mirror. The mirror borrows a reflection of my face, and there's an image of my face in the mirror. But my face has no relation to the mirror. Mirror may be shiny, mirror may be dirty, mirror may be expensive, mirror may be cheap, mirror may be broken. It makes no difference whatsoever to my face. In the same way, you, the witness consciousness, has no relationship with the I. But we are completely related. We feel I am that I, and that is ignorance. That is ignorance. That is the exact point, and this is a very beautiful way of presenting it. What does Vedanta do? That's exactly what it does. That false relationship between the I in the mind and the pure consciousness shining upon the mind, that false relationship is cut. Well, how can a relationship of ignorance be cut? How can ignorance be cut? Only by the sword of knowledge. Only by the sword of knowledge. You just have to become aware that I shine upon the mind, and that is the consciousness which we feel in the mind right now. I am not related to the mind. The moment you snap your relationship with the I in the mind, you are free. That is the whole endeavor of Advaita Vedanta. It's a very beautiful way of very precisely pointing where does Advaita Vedanta strike. Where does it strike? Okay. Now let us go on to the 10th verse. First the Sanskrit, then I'll explain, and then I'll explain the Sanskrit too. Ahankara laye suptau, ahankara laye suptau, bhaved dehopyachetana, ahankara vikasardha, ahankara vikasardha, swapna sarvastu jagaraha, swapna sarvastu jagaraha. So, now the question is, you have to understand the question, and then only the answer will make sense. The question is, if I am pure consciousness, unchanging consciousness, the key word here is unchanging consciousness, not subject to increase or decrease. I found in this country you have got these dimmer switches. You turn so the light becomes dim or the light becomes bright. So, consciousness is not subject to that. You cannot dim it or make it bright. But a question should come in our minds. We experience the intensity of awareness at times in the day when we wake up in the morning fresh and have a cup of coffee and good to go, feel very conscious. And when you come back at night and you're ready for bedtime, you just can't keep your eyes open, about to go to bed, or sitting in the Vedanta class, that also happens. You don't feel all that conscious. You don't feel all that conscious. And in dreaming, you feel a different kind of consciousness. And in deep sleep, you don't feel consciousness at all. We don't feel any consciousness. How can you say that we are constant, unchanging consciousness? This is the question. How do you explain this variation in our intensity of consciousness that we feel when we are wide awake, when we are sleepy, or dreaming, or in deep sleep? There seems to be so much variation in our states of consciousness. And the answer is given here. The answer is this. Consciousness remains the same. It is changes in the mind which cause the reflected consciousness to appear bright sometimes, and sometimes dim, and sometimes not there at all. It is changes in the mind. The mind, when it is awake and fully functioning, we feel, I am conscious. I am awake, ready for anything. When the mind is tired, exhausted, we feel bored, sleepy, not so conscious, not so aware. And when the mind shuts down in deep sleep, we don't feel conscious at all. It's like a mirror. When it is bright and polished, you can see a very clear reflection of your face. When it is foggy, you see only a vague outline of your face. And when it's turned down, you don't see any reflection of your face at all. But the face remains exactly the same. In the same way, the mind, or more specifically, the author says, the ego sense. The mind itself and the ego sense is most active in what we call our waking state. Is less active, the author says half active, partially active, in what we call our dream state. And is not active, it's in a potential, like computers these days have sleep mode. Computers are very efficient. If you don't touch them for some time, they go off to sleep. So, like Vedanta students. So, when the mind goes to sleep, we don't see any reflection of consciousness there. And then we feel that there's no consciousness, but the pure consciousness is exactly the same. And that's what he says. The states of consciousness are really not states of consciousness. Consciousness has no states. The states are states of the mind. Waking is a state of the mind. This is commonly used, waking state of consciousness, dream state of consciousness. No harm in using it, but as Vedanta students, we should know exactly what we are talking about. It's okay to speak about the waking state of consciousness, but we should know we are speaking about the waking state of the mind. The mind is changing. Mind gets energetic. The mind gets dull. The mind gets tired. The mind goes to sleep. So there's a waking state of the mind, there's a dream state of the mind, and there's a deep sleep state of the mind. These are states of the mind, not states of the consciousness. The consciousness is always there, watching. Just like Swami, I think I mentioned this, the train example. We have this big train in India called the Rajdhani Express. And Swami Nishreshanji, who used to come from South Africa, I have not seen him, but our senior Swamis told me, he had this wonderful way of explaining Vedanta through stories. So he says, when you go to the platform, there's the station master standing on the platform, and there's a lot of hustle and bustle. Why? This VIP, this big train, this prestigious train is coming into the platform. And the express comes in, and the people get out of it, people get into it. There's a lot of commotion, a lot of transactions, a lot of things going on. After some time, the station master is watching. After some time, the train leaves the platform. The station master did not come with the train, did not go away with the train. After some time, another train comes in. It's a goods train. It's a freight train. And there's hardly anybody who gets on or gets off. It's just the train driver who gets down, maybe has a cup of tea. And then again, the train leaves the platform. Station master did not come with the train, did not go away with the train. And there is no train in the platform. It's blank. Station master watches the empty platform. Just like that, our waking state arrives in the morning. As the alarm rings, the Rajdhani Express pulls up to the platform. So much activity. You have to get up and you have to get ready and go to office and get the kids ready for taking them to school. And you have a mortgage and you have taxes and you have expectations. Today is the day I get my salary or I get my promotion. Today is the day then I'm looking forward to that donut or coffee in Starbucks on the way to. It's the Rajdhani Express. So many people, good and bad, and it's your life, Rajdhani Express. Come back in the evening. And at night, lie down to sleep. The Rajdhani Express departs the platform. The waking world disappears. And in its place comes a vague dream world. The goods train pulls up. Not so much happening, not so clear and bright. You are the watcher. And then the goods train pulls out. The dream also disappears. Nothing. You are the watcher of that nothing too. You exist. But you are not that body. You are not the mind also. The mind also has shut down. You are still there. Not you as Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so is the identity of the body. Not you as the individual jiva with knowledge, memories, feelings, desires, expectations. That is the subtle body inside. Even that has shut down. You are the pure consciousness which you always were. So, look at the verse. Ahankara laye supto. In deep sleep, when the ego sense shuts down. Bhave deho apyachetana. The mind shuts down and the body also shuts down. And you go into deep sleep. It's a function of the mind, the ahankara specifically, that shuts down. Consciousness is still there. Ahankara vikasartha swapna. When the ego sense and the mind start working partially, dreams come up. Body is still lying there, but the dreams come up. We inhabit a dream world and we have a dream body. And when the ahankara, the mind with the ego, becomes fully active, sarvastu jagaraha. When it's fully active, you have a waking state. And this is what you experience. These are states of the mind, not states of consciousness. Okay. 11th verse. How do the dream and the waking states take place? Because in deep sleep, it's shut down. But dreams and waking, how do they take place? There is an explanation. 11th verse. Antah karana vrittishcha chitechchayaikyamagata tichchayaikyamagata vasana kalpayet swapne bodhe akshair vishayan bahi. The mechanism of our waking experiences and our dream experience. What it says is, when the ego starts functioning, consciousness reflected upon the ego, and we become a conscious, limited individual, I. Chiti chaya ekyam agata. When the reflected consciousness becomes identified with the active ego. Then what happens? In dream state, the mind has lots of impressions gathered from the waking state. What we have seen, what we have heard, what we have done, all those things are there. Memories are there. They are used to make a movie, a film. So we watch a film. That's dream. And in the waking state, when the ego becomes even more active, body gets consciousness. And we wake up. Consciousness spreads up to the body. And we wake up and we use our sense organs and motor organs to sense and act and interact with the external world. That's our waking state. What's the dream state? Mind shut down. Consciousness as it is. What's that's a deep sleep state. What's the dream state? Mind starts working partially, the ego is partially active, and consciousness reflected on the ego starts using the memories, the stuff stored on the memory chips of your camera to make a movie out of it and watches the movie. And when you wake up, the consciousness is transmitted from the mind to the physical body also, and our sense organs and motor organs become active, sensory system becomes active, and we interact with the world. That's the waking state. These are the three states, and this is how it works. What about the consciousness? Same unchanged consciousness. Because of you, all this happens in the body-mind. It is the same consciousness who opens a door in his house and it's the counter for a shop and sells and buys with the world outside. And when the evening comes, this gentleman closes the door and he goes to his living room and switches on the TV and watches TV. And when he's tired of that, he switches off the TV and goes to his bedroom and sleeps. Three areas, three states: waking, in transacting with the world. The shop, he runs a shop, the shopkeeper. We are shopkeepers. We transact, we buy and sell with the world. We transact with the world. We take in sense inputs from the world. We see, we hear, we smell, we taste, we touch. And we act, we speak, we walk, we catch hold of something, we do things with our physical body. So this is buying and selling with the world. This is our waking state. And then when we shut this down, we retreat into the living room of our minds, and with we switch on the TV and of dreams and watch it for some time. When the mind is also switched off, the TV is switched off, we retreat into a deep sleep state. Bedroom. But the consciousness is the same consciousness. So this is what is said here. Antakarana vrittischa, the functioning of the mind, chitichaya aikyamagata. Chitichaya, reflection of consciousness. Usually chit, the word is used. Here chiti, the feminine term is used. It means pure consciousness. So the pure consciousness reflected in the mind, what happens? Uses vasana kalpayet swapne. Vasana, impressions, the recordings in our mind. They generate dreams. And after waking up, bodhe, when you wake up, akshayir, with the sense organs, not just eyes, with all the sense organs, vishayan bahi, external form, sound, taste, smell, all these we take in and we experience. So this is our life. This is our life. The Panchadashi, probably the work of the same author, Vidyaranya Swami, who lived in a place near Mysore, in Karnataka. Yes. So there he extends this idea further. He says, this is the story of your day. Which day? Every day. And the story is repeated the next day. Tadvad dinantare, the next day. And then, masabda yuga kalpeshu gatagamyeshu nekadaha. Month. Next month, same story. Same. And next year, same story. Waking, dreaming, sleeping. And the years pass into decades and the body grows older. The body dies. The subtle body goes to other worlds and there are other lives. But the story remains the same. Consciousness, watching and experiencing through the body and the mind. He says years pass. Eons pass, millions of years. The Hindus have an enormous calendar. Vast sense of time. Millions of years and billions of years are for them one day in the life of Brahma, the creator, the creatrix, or whatever you call it, who created the universe. Just one day. And when Brahma goes to sleep, the world collapses upon itself and there's dissolution. But you, the consciousness, you're still watching that. You were there at the Big Bang. And you will be there when the universe disappears into itself as the consciousness. Yoga kalpeshu gata gamyeshu nekada. Look at the awesome poetry. Millions of years have gone. Universes have been created and destroyed. Gamyeshu. And there are many more years, millions of years to come and universes to be created and destroyed. And lives to live. Unless we get enlightenment. You can go on repeating this. Nothing can destroy us. Nothing can. The worst of tragedies, the most terrible of sorrows, the greatest of catastrophes, which can destroy worlds, has not been able to destroy us till today, and will not be able to destroy us. Nothing can destroy us. Nothing can scratch you. So, and it will go on. No deti nastameti samvid esha swayam prabha. Vedanta Swami says, the sun of consciousness neither rises nor sets. Self-effulgent sun of consciousness. Just reading Swami Brahmananda, a couple of days ago we celebrated his birth anniversary. So one of the first experiences which he had with the blessings of Sri Ramakrishna, he says, a light like a million suns engulfing me. It's his own light. It's our light. When we realize what we are really. And the tragedy is it's here right now and completely, totally, continuously available to us. A very senior monk told me once, he said, Vishwarup, we are missing it 1,000 times every second. It's there, we are missing it 1,000 times every second. Anyhow, this book intends to make us acquainted with what we already have. Now, a new question will come up. A new question will come up. What about birth and death? What is born? How does birth take place? How does death take place? What happens after death? So this author has certainly got style. He disposes of these enormous questions with a single verse. So the next verse he'll tell us how we live and how we die. How life after life comes and goes. What happens exactly he'll tell us in the next verse. 12th verse. Mano hankrityupadanam, mano ahankrityupadanam, lingam ekam jadatmakam, avasthatrayamanveti, trayaman jayate mriyate tatha. It is the subtle body. Remember, the Hindu view of the human personality is trichotomous. Physical body, and we reflect inwards a subtle body, and beyond that, I'm not talking about the causal body here, we are beyond that, our true reality, pure consciousness. Trichotomous view. Really we are pure consciousness, and because of our ignorance, we are identified with these two other bodies, this physical body and the subtle body dwelling in this physical body at present. Now, what is birth and what is death? Birth is when the subtle body with which we are associated, when it comes and takes up residence in the mother's womb, in the child which is conceived. That is birth, and then the child is born. So a physical body is created, and I take up residence in it. That is birth. And this physical body dies, I leave this physical body and go to other worlds and other lives. That is death. So birth and death are not of the pure consciousness as such. The pure consciousness is completely unaffected. Birth and death are experienced and are relevant to the subtle body. It is the subtle body which takes birth through the birth of the physical body. It is a subtle body which experiences death. It does not die. It experiences death with the death of the physical body. Why don't you sit down? So, physical bodies are born and physical bodies die. And the subtle body goes from body to body. The subtle body is called, with the consciousness, the subtle body is called the jiva, the individual. Pure consciousness itself is Brahman. But the pure consciousness limited by one subtle body is one jiva. So how many jivas? As many subtle bodies. And this subtle body, what is it constituted of? This subtle body has what we call three aspects. Three aspects. The vital sheath called pranamaya kosha. The vital sheath. That which makes us breathe in and out. So in yoga you do pranayama. It's an effort to control the prana by controlling the breathing. Breathing itself is not prana. It's due to prana. It's because of prana that our lungs inflate and deflate and we breathe. So breathing, the circulation of blood in our veins, the assimilation of food, transforming food into flesh and blood, into this physical body, all the activities, powering this body, powering the body-mind complex is the job of the pranamaya kosha, the vital sheath. So when we feel hunger, it's the prana. Thirst, it's the prana. You feel satisfied after a good meal, it's the prana which is satisfied. You feel healthy, prana. You feel sick, prana. So it is the prana. And the yogis, actually with all their asanas and breathing and the kriyas, they try to control the prana to get a more healthier body and mind. So, pranamaya kosha. That's one constituent of our subtle body. And another constituent of subtle body is the manomaya kosha, which includes the feeling of I-ness, the feeling, the egoism. It includes our vasanas, our memories, the thinking, sankalpa vikalpatmikamana. Should I do this or should I not do this? And that's the mind. And another function, another part of the subtle body is the vijnanamaya kosha, the intellect. That which we are using right now to understand Vedanta, where we get knowledge. Where we get knowledge. Should I go to the Vedanta class or not? That's the mind. I will go to the Vedanta class. That's the intellect. Right? So, the determinative function, which is, that's the definition given in Vedanta. So these three sheaths, the sheath of the intellect, vijnanamaya kosha, the sheath of the mind, manomaya kosha, the sheath of the prana, pranamaya kosha, together are called the subtle body. When it inhabits a physical body, it's a living body. When it departs from a physical body, we call it a dead body. The body is dead. That's why in English you say he gave up the ghost. The ghost here is the subtle body. When death is giving up the ghost. So in the Western world, we say that you gave up the ghost. In India, you say just the opposite. He gave up the body. The subtle body gives up the physical body. The moment the subtle body leaves the physical body, it's a dead body. And we hear of so many of these near-death experiences of people when the body is dying. You actually experience seeing the dead or dying body from above. So many such accounts are there. Just today itself somebody was telling me. So that's the subtle body. The Holy Mother, Ma Sharda, once says that she left her physical body and she felt so free. After some time she didn't want to come back into this, she says, this dirty cage of flesh and bone. She didn't want to come back. So there's a subtle body which takes birth by the birth of the physical body. The subtle body which experiences death when the physical body breaks apart. And this is what Krishna told Arjuna. Death of the body is not final. We give up an old body, a tattered body, non-functioning body, just as you discard old clothes. As a human being discards old clothes,